It's September. The holidays are coming up. Everyone is trying to lose that maybe 5 or 10 pounds, getting ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday, or maybe just trying to follow through with their New Year's resolutions. But y'all are failing to realize that listening to TikTokers, other YouTubers, or other people aren't really going to help you in your weight loss journey. And one of the things that gets misunderstood comes with cardio. You'll see tons of fitness influencers talking about how incline walking is good for you. Like, I get it. It's good. Like, I can watch a full episode of anime, but I won't be burning as much calories, or I won't see the cardiovascular health. And let me tell you why running is way better than incline walking. Let me get started with introducing myself. My name is Fager. Obviously, I am way skinnier than when I was before because I have experience in this. I am an avid 5K runner, and let me tell y'all, fuck incline walking, because that's all bullshit. And I'll tell you why you should go running instead of incline walking, and let me give you a sample routine that I did in order to help me lose and get into running shape. So let's talk about the main things with the benefits of running. The main benefit here is we're looking at getting better cardiovascular health. This means an overall improved heart health. The reason we're doing this is because running actually trains the heart to be much more efficient, meaning that the heart is able to pump out way more blood into our different muscles, such as our biceps, our calves, even our knees and our brains, which is obviously quintessential to living life. And with that being said, this also lowers our resting blood pressure, meaning that our blood vessels are much more flexible and way more healthier than what they used to be. This means it makes our blood vessels way more responsive to changes in blood pressures, especially if we're going to be doing a lot more cardio. Now, the other benefit that this brings is increased cardiac output, which is the ability to pump more oxygen-rich blood into our body. This obviously improves oxygen delivery to our different muscles, like I mentioned, like our biceps, our backs, our calves, etc. I mean, there are also other benefits that come with this. This also includes a lower risk of stroke. We're looking at less stress. Come on, less stress? More carefree attitude? Y'all like me like this? We're also looking at reduced inflammation, as well as, of course, weight loss and weight management. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room with running versus walking. As I mentioned before, there is a common misconception that talks about incline walking being better for burning fat. Let me tell you, that's all false. There are other factors that come with fat loss, which also mainly include your diet. Of course, you know, if you're not lifting weights, you know, you're not doing push-up sit-ups or doing some decent weight training, that's also one thing. But if you can't control yourself around fast foods, you know, going to your Starbucks, getting your $700 mocha cookie crumble, you know, that might be something else that people just don't talk about. And number two, walking is boring. Like, I can walk on a treadmill for 30 minutes and be the most unproductive or productive person in the world. It's just so boring. Like, you're just stationary. I mean, it's true with running on a treadmill, but versus walking, I'm competing with my own psyche. I'm fighting myself. When we are running, we are challenging the fact that we do not want to do that shit, but for some reason, we're just fucking doing it. And I feel that as a runner myself, you know, when we start running, like we're asking our bodies to start from a stagnant position going to a running position, that like first, I'd say 5 minutes are like the toughest for every single runner. But once you get over that threshold, running just gets simple. Your legs literally just carry you throughout your miles. I mean, I'm a 5K runner. I don't run more than 5K because obviously I'm a basketball player. Don't really need to run 10K and I'm trying to get some muscles. But 5K for me is kind of like the sweet spot for me, especially with the stuff that I do. I just don't have time to run for 10Ks. But honestly, 5Ks are kind of the sweet spot for me. But nonetheless, walking is just boring. Like, y'all want to be walking walking, like, where's the challenge in that? I feel like people just keep taking the easy way out of things. We have to challenge ourselves in order to be better persons. And in order for us to obviously look better, we need the pain or the sufferings that come with it. And again, for personal reasons, I believe fat loss, weight loss, etc. comes from the kitchen and discipline. It doesn't matter if you're going to incline walk for 60 minutes, fucking do it. I don't give a shit. But if you are eating like 20-piece McNuggets after your workout, we might have a problem there, sir. And of course, the main thing here, walking does not provide the same benefits as running. Obviously, you're not training your blood vessels because you're not going as hard or as rigorous as most people, especially compared to runners. Now, personally, I've actually tested this before. I did an incline walk. Granted, this is now current situation me versus when I was a little bit bigger. But I actually, on my off days, I do incline walking when I do on my off days because I'm trying to rest my tendons. But during my incline walk days, I will go 12% incline at 3 miles an hour. And I would burn roughly 210 calories. If I did the same thing, but if I just did it like a 0 incline at around, let's say, because I run at around a 6 mile per hour pace, at around maybe like 10 minutes, I burn just as much. So as I'd say, the benefits with running just outweigh the fact of walking. Maybe you're at a point where you just can't run, where it's just too taxing on your knees. I understand that. I was a 330-pound person, so I know where you're coming from. But there are many different ways to circumvent this. First of all, is to get the right shoes. A lot of people think that there's a shoe that can do all. Like that's just not true. There's no such thing as one size fits all. Like, you can't be wearing Converse to go running. You can wear Converse at the gym, but you ain't supposed to be wearing Kobe 6s on a run. Like, that's a basketball shoe. That's made for dragging your feet, jumping a crap ton of times. It's the same thing like going to war and everyone's got guns and you pull up with a sword. Like, the heck? You got the Matrix vibes? You can go like 0 speed suit? Like, yo. That ain't gonna work. The gun is gonna be faster. I don't mean about talking about guns, but I mean that's the best example I can think of. So being prepared for a run is way more important. There are a couple of channels that talk about what shoes are perfect for you, but as a big person, I personally recommend shoes that have more cushion. So shoes like the Nike Pegasus Fly Ease specifically are really good. The Pegasus Turbo personally are my favorites. I'm actually rocking the Nike Pegasus 40s. That's because I prefer Zoom Air, and that is my personal go-to. But you can look at other brands such as ASICS and all that stuff. There are a bunch of other YouTubers, specifically running YouTubers, that focus on running shoes, so I'll check them out. But eventually I do want to get into that category once again. Just not right now, because that's obviously not in the wheelhouse. I want to get started with this fat weight loss journey, that way y'all can see it. But yeah, and the other thing is with running is one of those sports where it's kind of individualistic, but it's also a team sport. Once you introduce like a run community or having a group of people to run with you, we all hype each other up. We feed off that energy, and you'll see that change in momentum once you start with your runs. So how do you start getting into running? Now, there are 2 ways. Obviously, if you are weightlifting, I personally did my running towards the end of every workout because that was just how it worked. And if you are using the Nike Run Club app, I know I keep talking about the Nike Run Club app, but I have the most experience with the Nike Run Club app. Using the program called Just Jog It by Coach Frankie is the best program to get started. Even if you're 400 pounds and your walk or run is more like 2 miles an hour. I mean, granted, I wasn't that big, so I can't really speak for that. But I can only speak from my experience that as a 330, my jog pace was like 3 miles an hour. So honestly, I think we can all do it. But we are getting started in running. if you have the ability to, you know, track yourself, you got an Apple Watch or something like that, I would recommend using that program. But if you don't, let me tell you how you get started. So picture the routine. All right, you have a cycle. We're doing, first of all, one of the failures that people just strictly forget to do is warm up. So you want to start with your first 5 minutes warming up. So just kind of like getting your legs, getting you from 0 to maybe like 75, 100% pretty quickly. Warming up is quite essential to running, because if you don't warm up properly, you're going to be increasing a factor of like injuries and stuff like that. So having a good warm up is really key to not only running, but weightlifting or any other sport in general. So giving yourself time to warm up, a little bit of stretching and calisthenic training, not calisthenic, but more of the stretches and all that stuff is going to be way more important. Now we're going to get to the meat of the workout. The workout is 7, you heard me, 7 rotations. We're doing 2 minutes at jog pace. So if you were to think about it, if you think of like a perceived ranking of efforts, from 0 being like a walk to like 10 being a full-on sprint, you're looking at maybe like a 2 to a 4, kind of in that range of where we consider it like a jog effort. For me, when I started, again, that jog effort was about like 3 miles an hour. So like I said, everyone is different. If for you, your running or jogging effort is 2 miles an hour, there's no shame in that. I mean, we all start from somewhere. So don't be so ashamed that you can't run that fast. It's all good. I mean, you are starting where everyone else started. So don't be ashamed about that bullshit. Anyway, we're doing 7 rounds of this. So we're going to do our 2 minutes of jogging, and then we go straight to a 1 minute walk. The walk is so that we can give our legs time to kind of recuperate. Because again, if you're a big person and you're starting to run again, you're not used to functions like that. So we are trying to build that cardiovascular strength to make sure that we are able to run for much longer. Now we do that 7 times, and at the end of the 7-time rotation, you're just going to walk for the last 5 minutes, or jog if you're able to. Because cooling down is another part of the running experience, because we want to be able to do it tomorrow. You don't want to go all out in your freaking workouts, because you're just going to kill your body. And that's the misconception that a lot of beginner runners do, is that they just go full force without thinking about tomorrow. There is always going to be a tomorrow. So you have to pace yourself, which is why distance runners, when you see a distance runner, it's all about pace. And then at the end is when you want to explode, obviously. But that's why I feel that running is actually way more better than what everyone else is talking about. I mean, walking does have its place. Don't get me wrong, maybe, because I run 5 times a week. And then on my off days, I will walk. I mean, obviously just to recover. But there's so much science that goes against incline walking that it's kind of a joke why people like Instagrammers and stuff keep trying to push this prerogative when we know that the science has already proven them wrong. And that's why, for me, bringing in a community of not only runners but like-minded people hyping each other up is way better than listening to some fitness influencer on TikTok, or listen to some YouTubers saying shit like fucking with no research backing them. And obviously, all my links, all my resources are linked down below. But that's just a simple way of how I started walking, why you should start running, and just how to get back into it. Now, trust me, once you get really good, or to a point where you can do this routine, you can do your jog pace for 30 minutes, you can start building up from there. And I know you can do it. And I believe that you can do it. But anyways, my name is Fager. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Peace.